Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Yvonne and you have landed on Ginger Chick Rehab, where I love to take thrift store, secondhand, pre-loved items and share the process with you, how I make them over and get them to be loved again. Couldn't believe when I saw this beauty at a Goodwill, the size of it. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to be outdoor decor or indoor decor, but I absolutely love windmills. I'm not sure if it was missing something. I did have to find a nut for the back of it, because if not, the front would just fall off. But it's a newer piece. It doesn't look like it's been outside before, or not in our Michigan weather anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get it cleaned up just with some Dawn dish soap and some hot water. And I knew what paint job I was going to do with this as soon as I saw it in that Goodwill. That Rusty Crusty look by Dixie Belle. They should name it Rusty Crusty. I don't think they're going to rename it just for me. But anyway, so for the first time ever, I'm going to try some of the Prime Start. I had a couple comments over the times that I have done Rusty Crusty that I needed to use a primer or my paint wasn't going to last. Now, I have not had any problem, because I think it's because I seal it in with the Weather Defense, the metal spray. And I'm wondering if the Prime Start will change my final color. I've always loved the colors that my rusted have turned out, but you know, that's the fun of what we do, is changing things, trying new things. So I'm going to go ahead and try some of the Prime Start, which is the metal primer that goes with the Dixie Belle Patina paints. But I had never, like when I purchased it before, I'd never bought the primer. So now I'm going to do the same technique as I always do on my Rusty Crusty items of the pouncing technique. As you see, I have now this is a bigger piece. I have a well-loved paintbrush, and all I'm doing is pouncing it on, because to me, rust isn't just a smooth paint job. Rust is bumpy and has a lot of texture to it. So that's why I choose to do the pouncing with the brushes. It kind of gives that raised little peaks of how a rust would have grown naturally on an item. Now, this is a pretty big piece to be doing on it, and I do need to do the front, the back, and the base, but that as soon as I saw this piece, I'm like, you need to be Rusty Crusty. That new aged galvanized is not doing anything for you. So now that I've got it painted with the Prime Star and that is dry, I'm going over with the Dixie Belle Iron Paint. I like the Rusty Crusty. I like that brownish, goldish, reddish color that the iron paint will give it. So I'll have to do the whole technique of the pouncing of the iron paint all over this piece again. So, I mean, you have to love what you do if you're going to pounce on something this much. And I do. So now that I've pounced on the entire windmill, front, back, bottom, the whole thing, it's time to spray it with the patina spray. So some of it's probably dry, some of it's probably still wet. I usually do it when it's wet, but it was a large object. So I actually put my patina spray into a different bottle so I could have a mist of it, especially when it's something that I'm not going to be laying down and I want to do both sides. That way I'm not applying too much. So now I did this at the end of my day, so I let it dry overnight, and I didn't get like a half hour picture in between of how it was changing. It really did not change as much as I am used to with different hues. The primer actually made it take really well, but it looks good. You can tell that it's rusted, especially when it comes to the bottom. So I'm getting this sealed in. That's where all the patina spray would have pooled. So I'm sealing this in with a couple coats of Weather Defense. So not only do I love to do the rust patina, I love the outcome, but it also sells well for me. So I do go around looking for metal items that I can envision doing the rust patina on. And this horse was just that case. Horse on a stand, it's metal, it's got some brokenness from the tail being bent, and it also needs its ears fixed, but I can just imagine what it would look like with some different patina sprays. I'll go ahead and get this one washed over, though. With the primer that I'm using, I'm not doing any pre-sanding, so I'm hoping that the primer is going to grab. A lot of times I would like do a scuff sanding before I would have done the iron paint. Now I'm kind of assessing the tail as I'm working with it, like, is the tail broken or is the tail just bent and then the outer paint just chipped off? So really that's what it was. The tail had been bent and then the paint itself just chipped off, so nothing too overly big. I'm just going to try to squash the little gap back together. If it doesn't, it's not any big deal. It does have a couple little gaps here and there, but you know, might as well give it a try. I hope it's not too boring watching me paint like doing the same pre-techniques to get a different look. And now on this one, I'm not just doing a rusty crusty. I do have where I'm going to add a couple different of the color patina sprays to give this more of a copper statue type of look. But I still need to do the primer and then let that dry and then do the iron paint and then spray my patinas on. I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a light misting of the green patina spray first, all over the entire horse and the stand itself. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my nozzle on like a drizzle mold, like a stream mode. That was another reason I wanted to change my sprayers out. So I'm just going to do one little pump and then just let it kind of run down certain areas like that the weather, the rain itself would have just hit. So I'm not spraying the entire thing. I'm really trying to get some drip marks, which is unusual for a paint job, but for this, the patina is different. And of course the stand does the best because it pools, but look at the difference in adding just a little bit of that blue, how it brings that turquoise, how it looks like the weather has just ran on the statue. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get this sealed in with some of that Weather Defense metal spray also. Want to watch one more Rusty Crusty product, go ahead and skip to the next item. But I had actually painted these wooden jacks up just plain black, and you know, after you do something, sometimes you don't necessarily love it. And I know that these are wood, but they were painted with spray paint, and I'm kind of curious even though this is a metal primer, what will these look like if I give them a little bit more character than just the flat sprayed black will it make them look more the metal? Now, if I didn't think the windmill was kind of a hard object to paint, yeah, this this 3 jacks are a little bit more, you know, like I gotta flip it this way, I gotta flip it that way, but it's always like your vision. You really want to change the product, the item, and make it look completely different. You sure do have to have a passion, because not only did I do it once, but of course I got to go back and I got to do it again, because the rust is just the primer. I need to put the iron paint on there also. But the nice thing about the dabbing technique is because I'm not brushing thin coats on and I'm getting a lot of paint on there, at least I don't have to do multiple coats of each. Okay, so talk about playing. So my green spray is a new bottle of spray. So I added just a drop of the yellow patina in there. So like what was blue, you'll see now is green. And I'm wondering if that will give a little bit more of the effect, because I do like the yellow spray, but the yellow spray is really yellow. But I'm just really looking for, you know, rust isn't necessarily always all the same color. So I was just like, you know, I have more bottles of the green spray that I could do, but I was just testing out my theory if just a little dab of the yellow inside the green patina spray would make a difference or not. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed the Rusty Crusty. So now I'm going to be doing some paint. And I actually had this in my inventory. I tried to sell this Lazy Susan, like, because it had that industrial vibe, but it never sold. But it's really well made, and who doesn't like a little tray, a little Lazy Susan like that? So all I'm going to do is take the 2 pieces apart. I'm actually not going to remove the wooden part from the metal part, and I'm going to paint it all together. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wash it off. Dawn dish soap, hot water, repetitive. I'm a creature of habit. Always get your items clean. I know most of the time I would have separated it, but I think the finished look I'm going for, there's no need to separate it. I'm actually not even going to be sanding this. Instead of sanding, I'm going to go ahead and use a gripping product by Fusion. So this is Ultra Grip. It's really good. It says for like pre-application for milk paint, because I want to use milk paint to make a crackle finish on this piece. So I just have to apply it all over everything, the wood, the metal, the whole thing. And the key to this is it's not something you let dry and then you just start doing your paint. You actually have to let it sit at least 12 hours to let it cure and bond with the item. So this was something I needed to do in one day and then wait till the next day to paint it. I probably should have squirted it into but it was from a squirt bottle, so of course I squirted it right onto the item, but I thought, oh, I think I got way too much of it on. But I still had the base and the bottom and all that to do the same product on. Well, you know, live and learn. So I can just envision this being that old-timey, springy type of green. So I'm going to be mixing up Sweet Pickins, milk paint, and Pantry Door. Not mixing any other green colors. I'm going to keep it just that light, bright. You know, we're getting to those winter blahs. So light and bright just sounds lovely to me. Now with this being a lighter color and a smoother surface, even with the Ultra Grip on there, I'm going to go ahead and start to dry it with the heat gun, and I can tell it's going to crackle, exactly what I want it to do. Oh, it's always nice to see what's gonna happen. That's why I like a lot of times like to start with the bottom, just in case I'm like, oh no, that's not going to work. I don't know if I would change it any, but at least I can see what's happening at the bottom. Isn't it amazing how this piece went from industrial to core farmhouse? Oh my gosh, just with some paint. So now I love the crackle, I love the chippiness it's got going on, but I'm going to go ahead and seal that in so it doesn't really chip off too awful much. No sanding, nothing like that. I'm just going to seal it in with some of the Weather Defense spray. I know chippy, crackling, crazing is not everybody's vibe, but oh my gosh, when you take that heat gun to it and you watch it do it, it's just, oh, my heart just flutters. So the one thing I like to do is I like to add some type of a dark wax into, and it really brings out that, look at that, look at how much it brings out those crackling, those crazings and the chippiness. So I'm using some of the Fusion's aging wax, which is a brownish black, almost a suit color. It's dirt. It's the color of dirt, let's say. Anyway, I love it. I'm just going to wipe it on, and then I'm going to take some natural wax to wipe off the excess. Now, I already pre-filled in my milk paint with the clear coat spray, so it's not really going to darken the paint up per se, as it's just really going to kind of get into those crevices areas. And yes, a few of the chipped areas chipped right off as I was waxing it, but that's what makes it look like it's old weathered paint, is that it has some of the missing paint chunks, which may stress somebody out, but it does not bother me. I'm happy when it's just a little bit, or you know, that it just looks good. I've had projects where like every single piece of it had peeled off before, so you know, using the gripping product definitely helps. Loved so much how that pantry door turned out on that Lazy Susan turntable that I grabbed this little stool. Now, this stool is cute, don't get me wrong. Thrifted it, you know, it's white. So who doesn't love white? I love white. But I am going to change it as I'm sanding it. Don't be mad at me. But I really just want it to be that pantry door green. So I'm going to go ahead and scuff sand. It looks like it might be on a transfer that somebody put it on the top. But I like to go through and take out the sharp edges so it doesn't look so much like a newer piece by sanding those round. So on this one, all I did was sand it, wash it off with Dawn dish soap, and I'm just going to paint it up. So no like bonding agent, no filling anything in. I'm just going to let the paint soak right into the wood, and we'll see what happens with the paint that's on there. I want it to look like multiple colors of paint, so I'm really only going to be doing one coat if it covers enough, because when it chips or crackles, or if I have to help it along by sanding it, it's the white and the natural. I really like those 3 tones on a piece. So the fan brush is helping me out, holding just a little bit of paint and painting the bottom. As you see, we all kind of like what brushes we like. And I was sent these fan brushes from Dee, who bought them off of Temu. I always mess that up. I have not ordered from that site yet. There's just too many products to go through. But these are nice fan brushes. I'm going to go ahead and get that heat gun back out. I really want to try to dry the bottom of the leg so I can flip this around. And of course, see if I can promote. I mean, it will do it on its own, but I like to help it along any cracking, crazing, or chippiness that might happen. But this wood might have been so dry that it just absorbed in. Even the paint might have been dry that it just absorbed in the paint. So I may not get a lot of cracking, crazing. A little bit of cracking and crazing, not chippiness, but I think it's because of one of the wood and then the paint on it. It's probably some type of a chalk paint, maybe, I don't know, that just absorbed the milk paint right in. But that's okay. I didn't need it to be like go crazy, be chippiness, but I am taking some sandpaper over it, trying to like get that third color in there. I want to see some of the white. I want to see some of that natural wood. It really chipped, of course, on the bottom of the little stool. Isn't that just the way? But yeah, I wanted to distress my edges. Not sure if it'll make too much of a difference, but I'm not going to pre-seal this in before waxing it. I'm just going to use the aging wax right over the top of it and see if it changes the color. It'll give it like just a slight different hue, but now you'll really be able to see the chippy, cracky, crazing with that wax going on. Isn't it not just gorgeous? Now it looks like it has been aged and it is old. Oh, I just love adding wax to a piece. It just brings out all that work of waiting on that milk paint. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and what did you think? Yes, I am a Rusty Crusty fan. Sometimes those metals, the new aged painting, the way that they paint, it just makes it new. So it is fun using the Dixie Belle. I absolutely love it. First time I've tried the primer, I'm on the fence. I do kind of like it without the primer because I like the color, but just a personal preference, and I think sealing it in with the weather defense is going to last either way. But I gave it a try. So each item's different, so we'll see if I use it again. And yes, that making new items look old with some chippy milk paint. Oh my goodness, that industrial little tray that I had and I tried to sell as industrial as is, it just got a well-loved paint job. It's so super cute, and I wanted to see what pantry door would look like on a little stool without mixing it together. You know, sometimes we get into that repetitiveness of the colors that we fall in love with. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to mix it. I'm not going to. So let me know down in the comments below, have I inspired you to look at secondhand pre-loved items in a new way? And let me know which one of the items I made over today were your favorite. So again, thanks for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you love to make over items, you love to decorate your house with secondhand finds, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.